So as a history student, I looked at history, I looked at the past, and I used literature, so their narratives, their essays, and also secondary sources to... Okay. Hello everyone, so I've just had a call with my, what's it called? Like my supervisor, my research supervisor. And like I've changed my research project, and this is like the first video, so just to like give an overview, I was meant to, so my initial research project was like going around London and looking at buildings and like different pieces of architecture that reveal the historical presence of like black people in London, like during the 18th and 19th century, and kind of like going around telling their stories, that kind of vibe. However, I didn't like the idea anymore. I fell out of love with it. So but as I was doing the research, because you know it's like 2 weeks into my research project, as I was researching, I came across the group called the Sons of Africa, and this was like a very brief Wikipedia search, so it was literally just like, yeah, it had information. It said like he was part of the Sons of Africa, kind of what their campaigns were, but I think as I go forward, like as I go on with my research project, I'm going to focus more on the Sons of Africa and their activism, what they did, what they campaigned for, were they radical, were they not, were they helpful, were they not. I mean, those are like the same questions. And yeah, just reveal the not only history of the Sons of Africa, which I mean you'll soon find out, or they were an activist group in London. They were an anti-slavery campaigning group in London during slavery in the 18th century. But yeah, this is essentially to document my journey as a researcher and kind of like reveal the struggles and the journey of researching black history and black early modern history in London. So yeah, as I go through the archives, as I read the books, you know, as I do all of it, I just hope to reveal who the Sons of Africa were, and use maybe like what sources aren't available to kind of just keep alive the history of black activism in London, to ensure that it doesn't get erased, to ensure that it doesn't get silenced, or to ensure that the archives aren't burned, because we know what the British government have done. Anyway, that is not the point of this. I hope that this is interesting, and I hope that it is just an eye-opener for the struggles of historiography, and just as a researcher, as a babe who just wants to do history, you know, like that is all I want to do. So yeah, hot scholar summer. And until my next excerpt, which I don't know when it will be, this will be like a cumulative vlog. This will just be the kind of like historiography, that kind of like vlog, that kind of behind the scenes work that goes on behind researching very important histories. So until then, and also don't mind how I look, because I don't look the best, I'll be honest, but I will look better. So I've literally just wrote down like a brief plan, or like what I wanted to change it to, what things that I wanted to include, and these are some notes from my call with my research supervisor. But before then, I had actually read and accessed Black and British: A Forgotten History by David Olusoga, and this book is really interesting. I haven't read all of it, like it is quite a big book. I say quite a big book. It's a big book. Yeah, I haven't, so I started reading it. I started just like going through it. I went through the back. So yeah, I went to the index and I looked for the Sons of Africa, and they are Do you see Sons of Africa? So page 212 to 213 and page 221. Okay, so Olusoga's Black and British, I think, is a good starting place. It's easy, it's accessible, and yeah, I'm happy that I've started here. Well, I did initially start with the Wikipedia search because as much as people downplay Wikipedia and like, oh no, it's not reliable, I feel like Wikipedia is a prime example, a seminal example of the work of like archiving and the work of like collecting information and information that isn't necessarily accessible to as many people and putting it on a platform where people, regular people, can just access it. You don't need access to like a university database for you to access these resources. So I started with Wikipedia and I've now gone on to Black and British, and I'm going to look at the bibliography and the index. So I'm just going to go through the index and the notes and just like filter through and find anything that I think might be interesting. So until then, okay, I've just come back. Oh my gosh, I'm sweating so much. I've just come back from doing my research projects and it was, let me sit down. It was all right. I just feel like because I've started packing as well. Because I have recently graduated, I don't have access to the university library. Well, I'm regaining access soon, but not yet. So as of right now, I don't have any like university access. So I'm trying to like research based on the internet alone, like a non-university internet. Does that make sense? And it's really like highlighting how inaccessible a lot of this information is. A lot of this information about like the Sons of Africa, about black presence in the 18th century, not only black presence but also like black activism, black campaigning, is withheld by these institutions or by these companies. So yeah, it's really difficult to actually research in depth. Like, I'm regaining access soon, as I said, so that should be fine. Why do I need to be affiliated with a university in order to know things? Like, why? In order to know black history in London. So yeah, that's really infuriating, frustrating, and yeah, it's really upsetting, actually, really upsetting. But I've just got back, so I'm really sweaty, and it was a good day, I will say that much. So yeah, on to tomorrow. Research. I've also engaged with geographies. Reading through the list of people who migrated to Sierra Leone as part of Sleeman's resettlement scheme made it feel even more real. Like, I'm not sure how to explain it, but it just felt really real, you know?